Alright, so I just wanted to go through a couple items here that I use at Harbor Freight almost daily. Want to get out front right away that I'm not sponsored by Harbor Freight. They've never sent me anything for free. They never contacted me. So this is just my personal opinion on some of the items that I use from them, like I said, almost daily. And I really like them, and they've held up well in a shop environment. I'm in my shop every day, busting out cars. And these particular tools have withstood the test of time quite well. And anyway, just want to go through them. Some people may not know or be aware of what all they have, and so I'm just going to go in no particular order here either. I'm just going to start at the left there and work my way over. So I'm going to get that mat, and then we'll start. All right, this is a mat. It's interlocking, and I haven't even took the the pad off to lock them, because I don't use. I guess they're used mainly for standing. I don't use them for standing. I use them for sitting on the floor with my butt on them. So, or if I'm under a car and I don't want to jack it up super high and use the creeper, I will throw a couple of these mats down. Like I said, I think they're mainly used for the floor, but they're also really good for keeping yourself somewhat clean when you're under a car. If I'm doing a transmission or something like that, I usually won't put those under there because I don't want to get them trashed with transmission fluid. But anyway, you can look for those at Harbor Freight. They're pretty durable. I've been using them now for a while, and they come in, I think, 4-packs maybe. I don't know. These are the ones I got. I think came in a 4-pack, and I'm still on the first 2 that I started using. So they stay pretty durable. And they're nice for keeping dirt off of your pants or your butt or whatever when you're sitting down. So that's the first thing, and I think they're less than $10 for a pack of them, so they're a pretty good deal. The next thing I talk about here is this jack. That is probably, I'm going to guess, 5 to 7 years old. It's a Pittsburgh jack. We're talking about this gray one right here. I think now they have the red one. I don't know if they still have that particular jack that I'm showing. My point is, with that jack, I used that probably, I'm guessing 5 to 7 years, definitely 5 years, and use it almost daily for everything and just about any kind of vehicle you can think of, and it's held up very well. It's just now starting to act up. It doesn't have much power left in it. I don't know if it needs fluid or what. I haven't messed with it. But at its age, as old as it is, I just decided to replace it with this jack here, the orange one, and that's the 3-ton low-profile jack. And I've had that one now probably 6 months to replace the gray one, and it's been an excellent jack, very good jack. You can jack something up and leave it jacked up overnight, and it'll be right where it was when you left it. Very durable, works great. Haven't had a problem with it. Rolls pretty good. It's actually so good I might pick up another one. So if you're looking at their jacks, the Daytona jack and even the Pittsburgh line of jacks are great jacks. Through the years I've used Craftsman and different types of jacks, and in my opinion these have been the best jacks that I've used. And I know there's a whole thing with Snap-on with them, and they're supposedly they copied off of Snap-on or whatever, but anyway, my opinion is they're great jacks for the money, and you can't go wrong with those. Next thing I'll talk about is that seat right there. That's it's got 3 drawers. It's on rollers. You can roll it around, and you just sit on it. It's got a pad top on it. You sit on it, and you can put it's got 2 ledges on each side that fold up if you wanted to fold them up. Put your nuts and bolts or whatever, your tools in that, and works really well. I think it's got a capacity of 350 pounds or somewhere around there, 300 pounds maybe. But it works really well even for big guys, and can't complain. It's not that much either. I think with 20% off coupon I got it for about 40 or 50 bucks. Don't quote me on this, but I think they're about 69 normally, somewhere in there. But they're definitely worth it if you don't have a lift and you're doing brake jobs and suspension work, where you don't have to get completely under the car, but that you're on the side of the car working on the wheels or the brakes or whatever. It's great for that. The second thing, not the second thing, but the next thing I'll talk about is this little step ladder right there. I use it mainly for four-wheel drive or big trucks, bigger trucks where you can't reach all the way over. I'm 6'5", and I still need a step ladder sometimes to get into somewhere, especially on the bigger four-wheel drives and stuff. So this one is new. I had another one. Well, actually, I've had 3 of these. I use one for my RV, and sorry about that. Anyway, I actually had 3 of these. I use one for my RV. I keep it in my RV, and when the steps come down, we have a big travel trailer, and when the steps come down, there's still a pretty big gap between the bottom step and the ground. So I keep this ladder, this little step ladder, in my RV, right where the front door's at, and then when we use the RV, I just pop it out and use it as the bottom step for our RV. We've done that probably 4 years or so. Never had a problem with it. It's a great step. And then I had one at another place where I worked and used it, and it was used quite a bit, and it held up. There's never been a problem with it. So I just got this one here for this shop because I was working on bigger trucks lately, and it was kind of a pain to get up there. And anyway, so I got that, and that solved the problem of not being able to get to certain places. So it's pretty economical. I think it's around $30, maybe even less with a 20% off coupon, and works great for reaching, especially if you're shorter, reaching, working on trucks or whatever. So the other things I will kind of zoom you in or bring you in closer to and talk about real quick. Alright, so these are kind of little items here. This here I picked up. These are real cheap at Harbor Freight. And what these are is body clip, or like the plastic clip removal. You get underneath there, pop it up, and it pops them out. I've used this quite a bit. I think it's like $7 or $8. You can find it, I believe, in the auto body section of Harbor Freight, along with all of those. These are all like for popping door panels off, or plastic pieces, trim, stuff like that. And these work great for that. They actually, I picked those up, and I figured they're not going to work that good. They'll probably just break real easy or bend, and they actually work pretty good. I've done quite a few door panels and things like that with those. And I haven't had an issue with them. They've held up real well. So, and those are super cheap. I think they're like $4 or $5 at Harbor Freight. I know they're less than 10. So these are neat little tool to pick up. It's not very expensive. It doesn't work on all body clips or plastic clips or pins or whatever, but it works on most of them. And I mean, it's sometimes it's easier than using a screwdriver. Just getting in there and popping it right up. So that's I think these are all in their body section. And then we're going to go over these last 3 real quick, and then that'll be it. But so I actually made a video on these before. This is the Braun lights. They're magnetic. The magnet on it sticks really well. It's got 3 settings, and it's charged by USB. They last about if you get a good one, they last about 3 to 4 hours on the low setting, which is all you really need for most situations. Now, when I say when you get a good one, I'm going to put a little caveat there, because I've had I got 3 right now, and I would say I've had 10 of these in the last 2 years. And the thing with these, they stick so well, you have to be careful. I've left a few on people's cars, and on the suspension or whatever, working on it, forget the lights there, and then they drive off, and I never see my light again. The one customer, I realized it pretty quickly and was able to go back and recover it. It was still on her suspension. But then there's been other times where I've lost them. I couldn't remember which customer it was or whose car I left it on, and I just lost the light. The other thing is you will get a bad light once in a while. I actually have one right now that only works when it's plugged into the USB. As soon as you unplug it from the USB, it doesn't work. And that's not necessarily common, but these do have issues long term. Normally, if you get a good one out of the box and it works good for a week or 2, then it's fine. But and they're pretty durable. You can knock them around pretty good and stuff. But sometimes you will get a bad one, and then the best thing to do is just take it back if it's within still the warranty. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about these lights because I love them when they work good, but I have had a few bad ones, and it's very frustrating. And you know, I mean, I had a little bit there where I had a run of like 2 or 3 bad ones in a row. Not necessarily in a row, because I buy these. I'll buy 2 or 3 of these when I go in, because I have a tendency of leaving them, like I said, on suspensions, on cars and stuff, and I'll lose them. But I have had some bad ones, so hopefully they work that out as they go on with it. I do like the light, and when the light works, when the light is working, I love the lights. And like I said, I got 3 of them right now. 2 of them work great, and one's not working if I unplug it. So that's kind of what you get with that light. This is another thing. It's kind of little. It's a flip socket for lug nuts. I bought a couple of these to put in my toolbox for my road vehicle. So if I'm out on a mobile car or whatever, or someone's broke down on the side of the road, I can pull over and help them out. Now I just got the 19 and the 21 mil, and it has a extension in the middle. So whatever size you need, just flip it, and you know, usually it's 19 millimeter on most cars nowadays. So you just flip it on to the 19, and you're good to go. These are not that expensive. I think they're $8 or $9, and like I said, I got a couple of them. I throw some in my toolboxes. I use I think I use this one mostly around here in the shop, and then I have a couple more in some other toolboxes I take on the road sometimes. I've made a video about this before. This is their expandable ratchet. This is the 1/2 inch one. I actually bought this expecting to break it at some point. It was pretty cheap when I bought it. I think it was on sale, and I almost think I got it for less than $10 when I did get it. It's a Pittsburgh 1/2 inch, and like I said, it's expandable. Just pull the collar down. Like I said, I've done a video of this before. I bought this probably 2 years ago, and there's been several times where I thought, okay, well, this is the end of this. Well, you know, I come across something that I think is going to break this, and it still has not broke. So I do have Snap-on and Cobalt and Craftsman ratchets that I use. You know, I'm not really a Snap-on guy or a Craftsman guy or any kind of guy. I'm just a tool guy. So I'm not super. I mean, coming up, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, Craftsman was pretty good, and I was big into Craftsman. But now I don't. I'm just, you know, a tool guy in general. I'm not really loyal to any brand. But I will say, if you're a young guy starting out and you need some ratchets, these things will get you. Not only will they get you by, they'll be fine. In my opinion, like I said, I work on cars every day, and I don't use this particular ratchet every day because it's not often that you need a 1/2 inch with a huge leverage, you know, huge lever on this. But even just as a regular 1/2 inch ratchet, these Pittsburgh ratchets are pretty good. Like I said, I mean, in my experience, I've never really broke one. I got a 1/4 inch one too that I use sometimes, and I've had nothing but good luck with these. So I would say that even if you're starting out, or even if you've been around a long time like I have, there's nothing wrong with these Pittsburgh ratchets. And if you break them, so what? You lost a little bit of money, but not much. And I would, you know, honestly, this thing has got me out of a lot of jams with the expandable handle, and just super impressed with it. Can't say anything bad about it. The last thing I'll talk about is the Earthquake XT stubby 1/2 inch drive. I literally use this every single day. I do a lot of brake, suspension work, engine work, transmissions, you know, pulling subframes down, pulling braces down, struts, any kind of like caliper brackets, almost anything you can think of, this thing will rip apart. I've had maybe 3 or 4 things that I couldn't get off with this and had to use a bigger impact. This thing is awesome. It's real light, packs a really good punch. I don't know if it packs as much as they say it does on their, you know, on what they claim it does, but I can tell you that, like I said, I work on cars almost every single day. I use it, well, except Sunday usually. I use this thing every single day for the last probably 8 months or so, and I think I got it for $89.99. I used it was on sale or something. I know I didn't pay. I think now they're $119 or $129, something like that. I know I didn't pay that, but it's worth every penny of whatever they charge for it. You know, $120, whatever it would be. this thing is, I love it. I mean, I was almost done with my air tools in general because I use Milwaukee a lot on impacts and ratchets and all that, and I was pretty much done with the air until I got this thing, and now I use this thing all the time. Like it's very rare that I work on something and I don't pull that out for some reason. So, and that's the Earthquake XT. I've heard a lot of good things about the Earthquake brand. That's the only tool I have from the Earthquake. That is the only tool that I have from the Earthquake brand, and I'm very impressed with it. I'm thinking about getting the Earthquake half-inch impact, the electric one, to put in my car because I don't like taking my Milwaukee to the junkyard and places like that because I spent quite a bit more money for that. I'm afraid something will happen or somebody will steal it. So I am thinking about getting the Earthquake impact. I've heard a lot of good things about that, but I think what my point is, I think if you get the Earthquake line at Harbor Freight, I think you're okay. I don't know about the other lines they have. But if you stick with the Earthquake, I think those are good quality products. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of go over some of the stuff I use. I actually used the XT today, changing the rotors on this Expedition, and you know, you gotta take the caliper bracket off and all that stuff, and they zip that right off on the Expedition. So. Like I said, there's hardly a day that goes by I don't use it, and it's probably my favorite tool right now out of all my tools that I use on a daily basis. So anyway, I guess that's it. I just wanted to show some of the things that I use from Harbor Freight in the shop on a daily basis, and you know, not everybody knows about it or shops there or whatever, and I just want to kind of get it out there. And like I said, I'm not sponsored by them, but I do use these products pretty extensively. I'm not necessarily easy on them, and they held up. So take it for what it's worth. I mean, you may go there and get a bad one, I'm not sure, but so far I've had, with the tools I just shown you, other than the light is kind of a lottery thing there. If you get a good one right out of the box and it works well for a week or two, then it's probably a good one. But if you have some issues with it right away, I wouldn't even mess with it. I would just take it back and get a new one, because they do have quote-unquote lemons out there, in my opinion, with that. And I've had, like I said, at least 10 of them, maybe more, in the last couple of years. And so I have quite a bit of experience with them, and that's just been what I've seen with them. So I mean, I would recommend buying one, but if you get one, make sure you use it quite a bit right when you first get it, and make sure that it works well before you throw away the receipt or the package. So that's just my opinion on that light. And all the rest of it has held up really well. I'm very good. Like I said, that gray jack there was my daily shop jack for probably 5 to 6 years, and can't complain about it at all. So anyway, I guess I'll wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, may God bless.